What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new episode. Coach Joe here with Heartletics.com, and today we're going to be talking about the way of the warrior. Now, if you guys happen to like the podcast episode talking about the Wolfpack mentality, this is going to be a part two. This is going to be a sequel, but most importantly, I'm going to be sharing with you guys something a little bit different about Heartletics that maybe you don't know. And maybe if you're, let's say, a Heartletics member, there's a little special community group that we have besides the main community group, besides the Wolfpack. So let's dive right in. Before we talk about that, let's talk a little bit about Sparta, right? Spartans, the way of the warrior. That's what this episode is all about. And it's not only obviously 300 is like my favorite movie of all time, just because I love the mentality of it. I love the grit of it and everything like that. I love all the actors. I love how hardcore it is. But I love just the lifestyle. Now, I actually did not know a little bit about like the Spartan lifestyle. I had to look it up. And so I got some notes for today's podcast, which is great because I want to make sure that I'm giving you guys information, but at the same time, not only just informing you guys about the Spartan lifestyle, but how much so that we can use that lifestyle, not everything because it's very, very strict. It's very hardcore, I should say, but we could still use some of that same mentality to just improve our own lives, right? To improve on becoming a better leader, to improve on becoming a better man, to improve on not just our health and fitness goals, but any kind of goal because the right mindset. So here's a little bit about the Spartan lifestyle. So long story short, when they're first born, actually it's like very, very hard to live as a Spartan. Let's just say it like that, because when you're first born, you were taken to this area called the Garcia test, or this Garcia test, where basically these high rulers, right? They're examining you, right? Just as a newborn. They're making sure that you don't have any physical illnesses or physical, handicaps or anything like that. And like, hate to say it, but if you did, hey, they just kind of left you in the wilderness to die. So like from an early on age, it's hard. It's very, very hard because the likelihood of you living, right, from just being a newborn to like the time when you're actually a child, slim to none. Because if let's just say you're sick, and a lot of kids back in those days, newborns, they're sick. I mean, think about it. Like they don't have technology like we do. They don't have food like we do. So the likelihood of making it, right, as a child was slim to none. And if you had any physical handicaps or were ill or were sick, anything like that, guess what? These guys are ruthless. They just leave you there in the wilderness to just die. Now, also, at an early age, they didn't bathe their kids in water. They actually bathed them in wine just because the Spartans believed that, hey, if you did that, it's going to develop, obviously, being more strong, right? Being more tough. And obviously, like, no one's going to do that in today's society, right? No one's just going to, bathe their kids in wine. But learning more about, like, the Spartan lifestyle, it was brutal. It was crazy. It was just hardcore to the max, and like, think about it. Like, who would do that? Like somebody that's like 3 months old, 6 months old, 8 months old, bathing them in wine, but that's what they did. And also, what I learned is that when you're a child from the ages of, let's just say, 0 to 7 years old, if you cried or complained, you got the crap beat out of you, or you just got blatantly ignored. Think about it, right? In today's society, how many times, like, dudes, and I'm the one to fault, right? Like, Mike Oakley, right? He'll cry all the time when he wants something. And I'm the first one to say, like, okay, hey, just stop crying. Like, here, let me get it for you. But it doesn't develop the toughness. Now, I'm not saying go beat your child at all, right? Don't hear me out. Don't take that from this message at all, right? But that was the Spartan lifestyle, okay? And I want you guys to understand that this was the ages of 0 to 7, okay? Like, literally, you were getting treated like crap. Now, it was different for the females, but we're not going to talk about that, right? We're just talking about the guys. So, at the early ages as a boy, it was very, very hard. Why? Because you're born for battle. Like, that's it. Like, you are bred into the Spartan lifestyle to fight. And that was it, like, plain and simple. They didn't care if you wanted to farm. They didn't care if you wanted to go play games. They didn't care if you wanted to go do this. No, you were born for a battle. That's it. In fact, and we'll get into this a little bit later, like the women, right, the mothers, they actually rejoiced when when their children would die in battle. And actually, like the ones that came back after war, like they were actually disappointed. They're like, "Oh shoot, like you came back?" Like I'm sure like they were happy, but at the same time, like the women that had their children, right, die in battle, they took that as honor, which is just crazy when I was learning about that. But it's just completely different from today's society, obviously. So what happens when they turn, let's say 7 years old, right? Because I mentioned that, in the early ages from 0 to 7, like their life was very, very hard. But here's the thing, that was easy compared to what happens when they turn 7. So for the next 10 years, basically, they are thrown into what's called this. I think believe it's a agog, something like that. I have a hard time pronouncing it, but it's basically broken up into 3 different divisions, and it's just training for just literally survival. I mean, there is plenty of times where somebody would die in the midst of training because it was like how this 3 different divisions are broken up. It was like the 7 to 17-year-olds, and then it was the 17-year-olds to 20-year-olds, and then like the 20-year-olds to like 28, 29-year-olds. And half the time, think about it, like a 17-year-old, right, is fighting not only just with swords, but, just everything, like going against combat for survival purposes, for training purposes, against a 7, 8-year-old, 9-year-old kid and just killing them, right? And it's just, hey, it happens, it happens. Like, that's it. It was just so bizarre to listen to that. But I always like to peel back the layers, right? On, okay, how do these guys get to be who they are to where they're going out to war complete fearless? And it's because of how they were bred in society growing up. These guys, they didn't have any shoes, actually. You didn't get shoes until you were 30 years old, I believe. Around that age. Like, you had to pass all these different divisions, and then you just get shoes. The garment that they wear, that robe, guess what? It was one garment per year. And, like, how they treated those kids was just, you have to be physically fit. You have to be mentally strong. Like, the kids that were fat, the kids that were out of shape, whatever, like, they either got the crap beat out of them, they were fed nothing, and were forced to train because guess what? If they were fat growing up and going out to war, they're holding back their team. Think about that. They're holding back their team. They're holding back their fellow warriors. It's just one of these things that, once again, and I highly encourage you guys, do your own research. Look it up. Like, the Spartan lifestyle was hardcore to the max. It was brutal. And after learning more about it, I'm like, I'm all about it. I'm like, right on. Now, I'm not going to go bathe my son in wine, and I'm not going to go beat him when he cries, and I'm not going to train him to, kill people for battle purposes. No, but the discipline, right? The tenacity of it, the mental altitude of it, like, it just blows my mind because in today's society, everybody's so patty caked, right? Like, you can get anything just by snapping your fingers, right? You want food? Hey, you don't have to hunt for it. You don't have to kill anything. Just go upstairs to your refrigerator or drive to the store. It's right there. It's convenient for you, right? And it's just like today's society, we don't have that mental toughness anymore because we don't have that discipline. We don't, plain and simple. And, I found out this also about Spartans because I recently stopped drinking, and so with Spartans, they just, even though they were bathed, right, in wine, and they'll have wine here and there, they never got drunk. And I always thought to myself, I'm like, wow, I never knew that because think about it, like going out to war and then maybe coming back, like, I'm sure you want to celebrate, right? Just get drunk. It's like, no, they would drink for, just for pleasure, but never got drunk because it showed a sign of weakness. And I'm like, holy cow. Like, I absolutely fell in love with that when I heard that for the first time. These Spartans never got drunk because it showed a sign of weakness. And I say it all the time, right? Like, so many times in today's society, people are just falling into these traps, right? They don't know how to become stronger mentally. They don't know how to become stronger physically. And they're stuck. They're just so stuck right now. But here's the reality, right? If you had to put yourself in the Spartan lifestyle, no matter how old you are, no matter where you are right now in your life, anything like that, most likely you would be killed by your own people because you're holding them back. And just let that sink in. Let that sink in because I was reading all this information and looking up, and I had to take a step back. And I had to say to myself, like, wow, I'm disciplined. I go to the gym. I'm disciplined in my work. But at the end of the day, like, these guys were ruthless. These guys were hardcore. These guys' mindsets were like no other. I got to do better. I got to step it up now because one, I love that Spartan lifestyle. Once again, obviously, like I'm never gonna bathe my son in wine or beat him up because he cries or anything like that, right? But I love the mental toughness of the Spartan lifestyle, the discipline, I should say. I mean, think about it. Like these kids didn't get to see their mothers or fathers at all. Like as soon as they were born, they were given to the state, and from the early ages of 0 to 7, basically they were trained to become tough. Once again, like if you were physically handicapped or ill, they were just left out in the wilderness to die. If bathing in wine to build up that toughness that they believed. If you cried or complained, you were either just like forgotten about or ignored, or just beaten up until you were tougher. And then you turn 7, and for the next 10, 12 years of your life, you're training for death. You're training for survival. You're training for war, right? You're battle tested. Like there is no like weakness at all in these men. And it's just, this is what made them fearless leaders. This is what made the Spartan armies like one of the most ruthless armies there were, because these guys weren't afraid of nothing. But at the end of the day, these guys that they went out to war with and died with, these were their brothers in arms. These guys trained hard together, and these guys made sure that everything they did together. There was no signs of weakness, and if there was somebody holding them back, like, hey, at the end of the day, it's either they need to help them, rise them up to get them stronger, or, hey, they cut ties with them and they kill them. Once again, that is completely ruthless, but peel back the layers. How can you change your life today in today's society with learning a little bit about the Spartan lifestyle? And so let me ask you this, right? I say it all the time. If you're fat, lazy, and broke, I can't help you, right? But if you're fat, lazy, and broke, and at least you're open-minded and you're willing to make a change, hey, we can probably help you out, right? Because at the end of the day, it means like you want to improve on your life. So think about it. In today's society, everything is given to you. Everything, right? Everybody's still kind of waiting for, the new year to come before I get started my health and fitness goals, or I'll get started on Monday, or, I'm still waiting for that magic fat loss pill to come out that's going to make me a millionaire and give me six-pack abs. Guess what? If you had to put yourself back into the same lifestyle as the Spartans, you would be killed instantly. You think like, hey, sir, you got to go out there, right, and train hard for war because we got to go out there and defend our land. We got to go out there and protect our own. And you're like, I'll get started on Monday. What? You would be killed instantly. But why is it that in today's society, we do not have the same mindset? It's because we are constantly given everything. Think about it, right? Whenever we need something, right, depend on the government, right? We don't depend on ourselves. Right? Whenever we need something, I love when people also tell me like, the market's bad and there's a recession and I can't make money right now. It's too hard. Yeah, it's because you're dependent on the market. You're dependent on, the stocks. You're dependent on the government. Like, what about my economy? Not the economy, my economy. Meaning, hey, go out there, sell some crap on Facebook, right? Facebook Marketplace. Go out there, shovel the driveway. Go out there, rake some leaves. Go out there, cut the grass. Like, do what a man has to do to step it up. And most importantly, what does it teach our kids? You can't complain that your kids are lazy and, they don't want to do anything if you're the one that's leading them to become lazy. Let that sink in. A lot of you dads out there complain that you're dead tired, that you can't do this, you can't do this. You come home from work, working so hard, sitting on your butt, typing away at a computer desk, and guess what? You're sitting, watching Netflix, drinking a beer, and then you wonder why your kids are fat, lazy, and, have these horrible habits. It's because of you. It's because of the lack of discipline that you have. So what does this Spartan story mean to you? Like, honestly, like, does it just go in one ear and out the other? Or does it inspire you? Does it motivate you to make a change, make a difference? Because honestly, like, in my opinion, I'm one of the most hardest workers in the world. When I say something, I'm going to go out there and get it. No ifs, ands, or buts. I have unshakable confidence, right? I have the mindset of a lion. Like, nobody can stop me from reaching my goals, plain and simple. But when I heard this story, it makes me want to do better. And that's scary. That is complete, utterly like, that's scary. Because if you knew me last year and you know where I am right now in my life, in my business, in my mindset, everything like that, imagine me getting better. Imagine, like, what is the next Coach Joe? What is the next Joe Callari? What is the next version of Heartletics going to be? And I gotta say this, I'm so excited because when I listened to this, I literally, it broke me down because I'm like, damn, I gotta do better. And here's the thing, I'm that guy that's waking up at 4 a.m. every single day, starting off my morning routine. I'm that guy that's preaching successful people do what they have to do, whether they feel like it or not. I'm that guy that's showing up on the podcast when I have no voice, literally coughing up blood when I'm sick. I don't care. I don't care. I got to do better. I got to do more. Because when I listen to this story about the Spartans, it makes me realize this, that there are so many different levels. And some of you guys, in fact, 99% of you guys that is not part of Heartletics, that's just listening from the outside in, you're on level 1 and 2. And you're wondering why the guys of Heartletics, these guys are like level 50, way above where you're at. Because think about it. They have that brotherhood. They have those people that's going to make sure that they're doing what they have to do, whether they feel like it or not. We're not going to go beat somebody up because they don't want to work out or eat the protein for the day. But guess what? We're there to help them every step of the way. That's the importance of Heartletics. That's that brotherhood. Now, I mentioned in the beginning of the podcast that we have something special, right, underneath the scenes that we don't talk about a lot. In fact, I think I only mentioned it once on a podcast before, just by accident. We actually have another community group. We have multiple community groups actually, but specifically when somebody gets into our coaching program, they have access to the main community group. That's the Wolfpack. That's where everybody is. The guys, some of the ladies, like everybody gets access to the main community group, the Wolfpack. But here's the thing, right? They also get access to the nutrition support group, so that way we can talk about different recipes, different tips and tricks on, how to hit your protein goal, different things to kind of help them out with convenience, scanning restaurant menus, stuff like that. But behind closed doors, right, we have another group called the Spartans. Now, if you are part of Spartans, right, hands down, this is going to hit home to you because this is exactly what it means to be inside the Spartans group. Obviously, you got to make sure that, you're not only helping out yourself, but you're helping out everybody around you. It's for the guys only. This is only guys. Remember, like I'm not talking about the podcast here, Spartans with the female life. Like, no, the ladies have their own community group on the app, and the guys, right, that make it to Spartans, it's just the guys. But it's your close-knit group of guys. This isn't like everybody, these are the guys that's willing to go above and beyond, but not just for themselves. Spartans are the leaders. Spartans have discipline. Spartans is the brotherhood. The Spartans that we have inside the community group on the app, guess what? These guys are fearless. These guys are courageous. Once again, these guys are going above and beyond. They're also going inside the main community group, the Wolfpack. They're helping out those when they need it. They're encouraging those when they complete, different workouts, like their 50th workout, their 100th workout, etc. They're completing their personal best. They're encouraging those and making sure that they're showing up on the weekly Zoom chats to having that one-on-one personal interaction with everybody else. These are the guys that's rising up to the occasion. The Spartans, right? These are the guys that also treat Heartletics more than just a coaching program. They treat it like it's themselves. They treat it like it's their own business. They treat Heartletics like it's they're living and dying and breathing it as their own lifestyle. They're living the Heartletics lifestyle, the motto, which is this: 1% better each and every day. Consistency is key. On top of that, But once again, they're taking ownership of their life. They're not waiting for a magical prayer to come out there. They're not waiting for, somebody to help them out with this. These guys take ownership. Typically, what happens is how you get involved into the Spartans group on Heartletics is you have to first finish off your first 3 coaching phases. So at Heartletics, we have 6 different coaching phases. The first 3, right, is our 12-week transformation program. This is where you probably heard the phrase, somebody can give you a fish and feed you for a day, or someone can teach you how to fish and feed you for the rest of your life. Well, that's what we do here in our first 12 weeks, is we're teaching somebody how to literally train properly for their body type and goals, how to eat properly for their body type and goals. But then after that, if they want to stay on, we have 3 more coaching phases. Phases 4, 5, and 6. These are our mindset coaching phases. And these are typically where, hey, if these guys are active inside the community groups, if these guys are, stepping it up, go above and beyond to help out others, we ask them to join Spartans. I had a conversation with my team yesterday, and I realized here that there's a lot of people that's in phase 2, phase 3. They're coming in hungry. They're coming in ready to work. They're coming in ready to go above and beyond because they believe in Heartletics. They believe in this being more than just a coaching program. They believe in this being a lifestyle. And so now we're in this enrollment phase, I should say, where we're opening up the doors to Spartans. And it's been a long time since we actually added in some members. And, I talked to, Coach Mark yesterday, like, we really need to pick and choose. Like, hey, some of these guys in phase 2, phase 3, we need to get them on board as Spartans now. Because we want to really grow this community group and we want to get this brotherhood even stronger. Spartans, right, having only guys in it, this is awesome because, this is where people like me and the other coaches, when we struggle, when we're dealing with life's curveballs and adversity, we go to that group. We get the help that we need. It's that closed group. And like I said, there's over 200 members inside of our coaching program. I think there's maybe 20, maybe 30 max right now in Spartans. So you guys can see, like, it's not just, oh, hey, I want to be a part of Spartans, I get in there. It's like, no, you got to earn your stripes. You got to make sure you're showing up to battle. You got to make sure you're holding your own. You got to make sure you're going above and beyond, right? You see the guys in Spartans, those are the guys that's, posting about not only their success, doing push-ups with their kids, leading better by example. They're also sharing other people's success. They're posting other people's wins. They're promoting that Heartletics lifestyle as, man, guys, come join this because at the end of the day, they believe that Heartletics is going to change the world, just like how me and the other coaches believe the same thing. And all I got to say is this, guys. By me doing more information on that Spartan lifestyle and knowing, right, who I am as an individual and having that conversation with myself right before I got on today's podcast saying, I got to do better. All I got to say is this, is Heartletics continues to rise up. Coach Brett said it best. He's our new mindset coach. He said, Joe, I've been a part of your coaching program for 2 years now. He said, you've changed it at least 8 times. New videos, new format, new content, everything like that. And he asked me, why do I do that? And I said, because I'm always going to lead better by example. When I rise up, I don't want anybody else to fall. I want to make sure that if you're in my wolf pack, if you're in the Heartletics army, the Heartletics nation, the family that we have, we're rising you guys up to the occasion. If I level up, we all level up. Coach Mark levels up, we all level up. Coach Brian levels up, we all level up. That's how it is. That's how it should be. And most of you guys out there have nobody in your corner that you can come to for support. No community, nothing. And you guys wonder, when you look down, you see this big old beer belly. You see these man boobs, right? You guys wonder why it's having a hard time. You have to suck in your breath just to, tighten up your belt or put on your socks and boots in the morning. You wonder why. Because guess what? If you were once again living in the Spartan lifestyle back in the day, you would be killed by your own because you're holding people back. Who do you have in your corner that's going to make sure that you're rising up to the occasion? At Heartletics, we have it all. We have the community group, right? For everybody, the wolf pack. We have the Spartans for just the guys that are serious, the guys that are willing to lead better by example, the guys that are willing to go above and beyond. My favorite quote, hands down, from the movie 300 was this. It's from one of the ladies, right? She told her I believe her husband, as he's going out to war, King Leonidas. She said to him, Either come back with your shield or on it. That's the Spartans that we have inside of the community group at Heartletics. These guys are willing to step outside their comfort zone. These guys are willing to become leaders because they're disciplined and they understand that it's going to be hard. They understand that if they're going to make a difference and a positive impact in this world, they have to be fearless. They have to be confident, but they can't do it on their own. That's why this group that we have, the Spartans, it makes everybody better. It makes me better as a coach. It makes all the other coaches better. It makes the members better because guess what? We don't want anybody to fail. We don't want anybody to hold anybody back. And once again, if you're looking down right now and for the past, 6 months, 12 months, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years plus, and you're constantly seeing the same person in the mirror, constantly seeing the same old big old belly, the laziness, and now you're also seeing maybe your kids following through in your footsteps, shame on you because that's your own damn fault. It's so easy to make a change, and all you have to do is be open-minded. I say it all the time. If you're fat, lazy, and broke, and you don't want to make a change, I can't help you. But here's the reality. If you're fat, lazy, and broke, and you're willing to make a change, you're taking ownership of your life, you want to take commitment first and foremost, hey, maybe we can help you out. And all I ask is that if you're a Spartan and this, Spartan inside of the Heartletics community group, and this message has resonated with you, let's step it up, fellas. Because I bet you anything, right? I'm going to go above and beyond, knowing that, hey, I'm already a beast, and I can confidently say that. I have my non-negotiables. I'm the most disciplined person there is, but I need to go above and beyond after learning more about the Spartan lifestyle, learning how they're bred for battle, about how they are unshakable with their confidence, with their mindset, and they're willing to go above and beyond and not care what happens. Spartans, I ask you to do the same. I ask you to go above and beyond. If you see somebody struggling inside the groups, help them out. If you see something that, man, I want to inspire other people, post that on Facebook, post that on Instagram. Live that Heartletics lifestyle. That's the only way that we're going to do our mission at Heartletics, which is make the world a better place, is by having more Spartans, by having more people that's going to rise up to the occasion. The main community group, the Wolfpack, it's there. We got that. But at the end of the day, hey, we also need generals. We also need leaders. We also need people that's willing to step it up. These are the guys that's going above and beyond. These are the guys that are leading by example first and foremost and not waiting for someone to tell them to go. These are the guys that saying, hey, let's go now. Come with me. Lead the way. Spartans, let's step it up. And if you're somebody that's listening to this, you're not part of a community. You're not part of Heartletics. What are you doing with your life? Right? And do something. Right? And at the end of the day, like, it is so easy to become the best version of yourself. The problem is you have been bred, right? Just like how the Spartans have been bred and born for battle and their discipline, their mindset, unshakable confidence. You've been bred into a society where everything is given to you. You need to learn how to take responsibilities for your own actions. You need to learn how to take ownership of your life first and foremost. And the minute you do, I promise you this, you're going to start winning at life. Now, you don't want to probably go out to war all by yourself. I'm pretty sure if King Leonidas did that, they would obviously, not be who they were. That 300 movie would be over with in the first 5 minutes. You want to go out to war. You want to have people supporting you. That's where Heartletics comes into play. Go visit heartletics.com. Check out our free fat loss guide. Schedule a free, qualification call. Talk to Coach Jimmy. Talk to Coach Mark. Talk to somebody. Because at the end of the day, if you have literally been in the same position now and you have been in the past year, 5 years, 10 years, shame on you. Because you're doing a great job at leading people by example to be just like you in life. And I'm pretty sure nobody wants that for their own kids. I want my son to be better than who I am. But that means I got to make sure that each and every day I'm becoming 1% better. I'm doing what I have to do to lead better by example. Because leaders lead, right? Actions speak louder than words. Let that sink in. You can always tell by looking at somebody if they're disciplined or not. Look at their stomach. Look at their face. Look at their work ethic. I want to be able to say that confidently to whoever is listening to this. And I want you guys to be able to say it to the same for yourself and have that grit, have that passion. Say when you're going to do something, actually step up and actually do it. I talk about this all the time. Discipline is the most important character trait that you can work on. Plenty of days I don't feel like showing up. Plenty of days I don't feel like recording a podcast because I either have no voice or I'm sick or I'm tired. Regardless, successful people do what they have to do, whether they feel like it or not. Start living like a Spartan, and I promise you this, you and your family is going to have a better life. Peace out, Girl Scouts.